How much does real estate marketing cost? Well, a lot of brand new agents commonly ask these questions and they are extremely confused as to what and how much they should allocate their real estate marketing budget to. And I don't blame them because it's a very complex process and situation. I mean, you can ideally spend money on lead generation campaigns to bring your clients. You can spend money on driving brand awareness through physical bus benches, bus shelters, ads, doing flyers and mail outs to the farm area that you want to grow in, or even double down on creating social media content and drive organic traffic through there to even, fulfilling clients, giving them a welcome basket when they purchase a home to throwing client appreciation events. So there's a lot of things that you can allocate your money to. And in this video, I want to break it down into 3 phases for you guys. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is John Lee and I've helped thousands of real estate agents scale their business to multiple 6 figures using creative, modern social media strategies. Now, if you guys found any value at all in this video, all I kindly ask you to do is to smash the like button. And also, if you have any further questions, comment down in the section below. I get back to 100% of all of you. Now, without further ado, I'm super excited to get into this video. So let's break it down for you. How much is real estate marketing? How much does it cost? In 3 phases. So phase 1 is how to get started with 0 budget. Phase 2, we're gonna talk about what to do when you start to close your first few deals. In the phase 3, we're gonna talk all about scaling and talk about some of the initiatives and marketing campaigns that you should budget for when you are at the cusp of a breakthrough to get to that next level. So let's talk about phase 1 to begin with. So the first phase is how to get started with no money, right? As a brand new agent, you really don't have a lot of capital to work with, but the one thing you have is time. And what I would recommend is how do you leverage and double down on your time to get the biggest return on it? And what I would do, this has worked extremely well for me, is when I started out, I would host events. So if you have a brick and mortar real estate brokerage, that's awesome. Usually they have a boardroom or a classroom or even, let's say, an open area that you can have access to be able to host these events in, right? So what I would used to do is I would host an event. I would bring together a panel of experts, right? I bring together a mortgage broker, a lawyer, a conveyancer, a home inspector. So an expert of panels that complement my presentation and the niche and the audience I'm serving. So I put together a presentation, I get all these panels of experts in, I invite them through, everyone contributes and prepares some prizes to kind of attract people in, and then we kind of blast it off on social media to notify everyone and maybe run a few ads around it as well. So a few types of events have done really well for me are, investor seminars, right? I would host a house flipping seminar, and the beauty of attracting investors is they usually have an endless amount of referral clients that they can give you, and most importantly, they are probably the highest return on investment clients that you could invest your time, energy, and money into attracting and building that long-term relationship with, because more likely than not, they're gonna be repeat clients on an annual basis. So I started with that niche. Another type of seminar that has done really well for me would be home buyer seminars, especially first-time home buyers. So you ideally want to cater to people that are just starting their search or just curious about the process of buying a home. You kind of want to beat the rest of the crowd to be able to have more time to kind of bridge that relationship and to be able to nurture them and kind of guide them down the right path. So home buyer seminars are great. Now, if you don't have a brick and mortar real estate brokerage you can work out of, another amazing space that you can get access to is, with a pass, obviously in the membership, is co-working spaces such as WeWork. I'm sure we've all heard of WeWork. So WeWork, actually you can simply rent a desk there and you have access to all the WeWorks in the city that you live in or internationally as well if you travel abroad. But most importantly, you're able to book out these big rooms where you can host these amazing events in. And I have myself a membership at WeWork. I also have a brick and mortar brokerage, and it just gives me more flexibility in terms of where I work out of, depending on where my day takes me and where my client meetings are. I can kind of structure it around there like that. And also with technologies, I mean, you can even host the events and get your guests to attend in the comfort of their home via Zoom. So there are a lot of options out there. I would really strongly suggest tapping into thinking about how you can best leverage your time to get double or triple the return on investment on your time, especially when you're starting out, because we're not working with a lot of capital. So hosting events are great because not only does it get your name out there, which increases your brand awareness, you're actually bringing in business, which is also a form of lead generation. So the second thing you can do besides hosting events, well, you can create an online presence. You can build your personal brand on these trusted social media platforms. What am I talking about? Well, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have LinkedIn. And personally, I think that YouTube is a great way for you to build your brand on, because not only is it SEO focused, which means people can actually search for the content that they're looking for, unlike any other platform out there, which is more organic and algorithmic based on their viewing patterns, based on their previous search queries. People can directly type in a question like how to buy a home in Vancouver. And if you are one of the first few individuals to make a video on that, your video will populate on the first few, and you have a greater chance of reaching that potential viewer who is also a potential client. Not only is SEO focused, but it also leads with value. And the beauty about leading with value is that you're playing a long-term game, right? When you provide more value upfront to people without any expectations, and you are able to become a trusted source of information, when people are ready to make that decision, let's say you're the real estate expert in Toronto or in Los Angeles, and you've been putting out content, and someone is thinking of relocating to Toronto or Los Angeles, or someone is early in the process of buying a home, but because they've been watching your videos for a few months, now when they're ready to make that decision, chances are that you are most likely going to be the top of mind, meaning they will probably end up reaching out to you to want to work with you directly versus someone that their parents or their uncle or their aunt or their cousin recommended, right? So that is really important. And I feel like the beauty also of putting content out there outside of YouTube as well, like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, are all amazing platforms. You are able to have a digital billboard online that's door knocking and cold calling for you 24/7, 365, organically without you spending a single penny, but you can still reach a mass audience because that content is evergreen on that platform, and it will continue to bring people through the door to view your content and potentially to reach out to you to want to work with you. So that's the power of leveraging these trusted social media platforms. So before I get into phase 2, which is what you should be doing and how you should be allocating budgeting for real estate marketing costs when you start to close the first few deals, I want to go over something. And this is from experience, and it's really unfortunate because when realtors start closing deals, unfortunately, they blow all that money away. They start to lease out a flashy new car, they go on vacations, or they start dripping in like Gucci or Ferragamo or Louis Vuitton and all these name brands. So it's really important, guys, that you don't fall into that trap, the facade of being successful, because ultimately what will determine and who will be the most successful individual in the game is the person that can invest the most back into their business. So right off the bat, when you start closing deals, and I made this mistake too, I definitely spent some money that I shouldn't have when I started off, and there were moments where I was struggling to get by. Even though on the surface I felt like it looked like I was successful and I was rolling in a nice Lexus or whatever it is, but there were very tough moments where I could barely even afford a meal out, and it's quite embarrassing to say, but I'm just telling you guys the truth of it. I learned it the hard way, so I don't want you all to kind of fall into that trap of success or looking like you're successful. right? So make sure you put back 30% of your commission into your business. Guys, put back 30% of your commission back into your business. Put that aside. Every paycheck that you get, 30%, store that away in another savings account for your business growth. And the reason why I say 30% is because not only does it budget for tax, because a lot of people, they don't factor it in. When we're self-employed, we get taxed at the end of the year. Well, I mean, it's really dangerous and risky when you have access to all these money, all these funds, and you forget to budget for tax. So 30% is you budgeting for taxes, and on top of that, whatever's remaining will be your marketing budget that you work with for that year or for the year ahead. So that's the one thing, right? Because if you're late on your tax payments, the interest rates on that are extremely ridiculous, and you don't want to be stuck in a bad position where you're forced to pay interest on the taxes that you own for the previous year because you did not budget for it, okay? Number one mistake that new agents make. So that's the first thing I want to address before I kind of get into what to do after you start scaling, right? And then now I want to talk about, after I get through that, I want to go over the paid advertising side of things for social media platforms. One thing to note too is as these platforms become more and more mature, the cost of running ads on these platforms increase as well. Just like when Google first came out with, search engine optimization and Google PPC, pay per click, you could literally get the best targeting words such as wine, such as buy, Vancouver, all these very key niche broad search terms for 2 cents a click, 1 cent a click. And now the cost per click is closer to $9 to $12 on these more competitive keyword search terms, or you have to have a more niche down longer form search term that is more cost effective, but you reach less potential people. And another thing to factor in is, the same goes with Facebook ads. Back when Facebook ads first were launched, you could get, the cost to acquire a lead could be $1, $2. Now you're looking at least, $5. If you're lucky, $5 to $8 is kind of the sweet spot. So besides budgeting for taxes, it's also important to budget for higher advertising costs, right? That way, when you start to make money and when you start to close deals, you can then be better in a position to scale, which is phase 3. We'll get to that later. But first, let's get into social media ads, Facebook ads. I'm sure all of you are curious about that. So like I mentioned earlier, as the platform gets to a point of maturity, it also gets to a point of extreme saturation. Now, with the recent privacy updates, especially with the iOS and Apple platform, which is majority of mobile phone users in North America, what we have to really think about is how expensive it is to run ads today on Facebook and how it's actually harder to reach people because of these new privacy laws and regulations and settings that were introduced on the past few iOS updates. And that really crushed a lot of digital marketers. But in my opinion, it also brings about an opportunity for newer digital marketers, newer real estate agents, newer business owners to kind of have an opportunity to get into the space where a lot of people either have their ad account shut down or banned completely, a hard reset on their ad accounts, or a lot of people choose to allocate their advertising budget to other platforms or to other sources simply because they weren't getting the return on that investment as they were used to. So now is a great time to leverage that opportunity to get into Facebook and to start running ads. And I would recommend budgeting for about $600 to $1,000 a day. Now, keep in mind, you can start with a smaller budget, but I recommend that budget because I feel like it's enough where you can actually collect a reasonable amount of data for you to then interpret that data and make the adjustments that you deem are necessary. But it also is a good enough time frame for you to kind of look at the overarching performance of your entire ad account, right? When we start to spend too little on ad costs per day, then you drag out the time frame to be too long, right? Ideally, you want to be able to reevaluate your ad account and to make adjustments, I would say within the half a month to a 1 month time frame, the longest. Anytime your ad budget, because you're not putting enough dollars into it, if it gets stretched beyond the 1 month mark, I feel like at that point you're losing out on opportunity costs for time, and time is your most valuable asset. So guys, start with $600 to $1,000 budget on Facebook. And the next thing I want to talk about is Google ads. So that's on the social ad side of things. And obviously when I talk about Facebook ads, I'm also talking about Instagram ads because they're owned by the same parent company, which is Meta. Now I want to talk about digital ads and Google as well. So I would recommend, if you have the budget for it, I recommend running in parallel to Facebook, Instagram, social ads is another $600 to $1,000 budget per month for Google ads. And I would like to run that in parallel because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to diversify your marketing channels to be able to attract clients from all platforms, either from organically when they're scrolling and searching, looking through their social feed and they see your ad, or through search intent SEO optimized opportunities where they're typing in how to buy a home in Vancouver or how to do XYZ, and they see your website or your ad or your article pop up, right? So we want to be able to target multiple channels and multiple audiences to get the best results. Now, definitely for social ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, we all know that it's a volume play, right? There's definitely going to be a lot more systems that have to be set in place in terms of filtering out the quantity of leads that are coming through, to how you nurture them through text and email campaigns, and also potentially even have an assistant that's calling for you and booking appointments in for you with the exact breakdown of their time frame, what they're looking for, what their budget is, etc. So that's a whole complicated process, and if you guys want training on that, I can definitely share it to you. Just let me know down in the comment section below. And in terms of Google, we all know that it's going to be more expensive, right? Social ads, more quantity, cheaper ad costs. But Google is going to be higher ad costs and more quality leads because these individuals have the intention of searching for a specific answer, and that's why they go to Google to find that answer. Therefore, the chances of someone looking up how to buy a home has a greater chance of buying a home, whereas someone that's just browsing through their social feed might just be inquiring for fun or for leisure. So that's the difference between the two, and I would recommend, again, having a budget for both if you can. And if you don't have the budget for both, rather than, again, splitting the budget for both, like I said, we have to look at time as our biggest asset. So I would double down on one platform, and I would recommend starting with the social ads if you don't have the budget to allocate to both, because with more quantity, there's more things for you to work on. You can refine your pitch. You can have a bigger opportunity to talk to more clients, potential clients, and that way it gives you more things to do. And you always, that's the biggest thing, is you always want to be busy, especially when you're starting out, because you don't want to lose that momentum. So for that reason, if you don't have the budget for both, double down on running the social ads only. Now, once you start closing deals, usually the first few deals that you close are going to be home buyers, but eventually somewhere down the line, you might come across someone that's looking to buy, but they need to sell before they buy, or you might get a referral from your client of yours, or an investor client that's looking to offload an investment property as well, or a referral to help the parents of your clients sell their home or downsize or upsize, whatever it is. So I want to take some time to talk about the practical aspect of real estate marketing when it comes to listing a property. Now, I always budget for $500 to $1,000 per listing, right? And this includes getting the best quality videos done for the property. This includes getting a drone footage. This includes getting a twilight shot if I can. This includes me doing a walking introduction about the new listing and using that, as an ad on social media. And the reason why you want to do this is because you want to be sure to over deliver for your clients, to not only put you in the best position to get the most amount of money for your clients and make them extremely happy that they will be willing to be a testimonial for you, but this also gives you an opportunity to attract more referrals, because people always love to share about either an extremely pleasant and good experience or an extremely terrible experience. No one really ever shares an average, mediocre experience. Always go above and beyond for the advertising budget for your listings, to even making a professionally put together brochure that's laminated, that's color printed, that looks professional, that looks luxurious. And this is for all of your clients, no matter the price range or the product that you are helping them list for. You want to make sure that your brand awareness and your brand is consistent throughout the different clienteles that you take on, because consistency is the most important thing when it comes to building trust and building long-term relationships. So besides that, I would also run some social ads, again, for just listed, for just sold, for open house. And this just on top of the IDX, on top of the blast that you get for Realtor.ca, Rue.ca, all these real estate website, Zillow. It's important and imperative that you run social media ads, because you just never know how and when someone who is scrolling through their Facebook profile or Instagram might actually be a potential buyer for the unit that you are listing. So again, you want to be able to maximize the exposure for that new listing in order to bring the most amount of people through the doors, in hopes of getting multiple parties interested in that property, and then for it to go into multiple offers and sell for a higher than asking price. So that's what I would recommend doing on the property listing side of things. And the next thing I want to talk into on the note of video is having a budget and investing back into creating video content for social media that drives brand awareness, that helps you build your personal brand, because there's nothing else in this world that will be more valuable than your personal brand that you've built. And so it's imperative that you, again, when starting out, for the budget, invest in good camera gear, right? Invest in the tripod, invest in a ring light, invest in a microphone for better audio quality, invest in a nice point and shoot camera or a DSLR or whatever camera you can get, and just start there and learn how to edit, learn how to add transitions, learn how to color correct, learn all of these skills. And eventually, as you grow your business and get busier and busier, there will be a point where it makes sense to allocate that budget to hire, a creative director, to hire a video editor to help you with that. And also another thing to look out for too is thumbnails, right? I forgot to mention thumbnails. So, if you are a multiple six-figure agent, you will not be spending an hour of your time trying to put together a thumbnail on Canva, because your time is worth more than the $10 that you would have spent to hire someone else to do that for you otherwise. And they will most likely be able to do a better job than you will, because they've done it for longer and they're the expert for creating thumbnails. Something to think about too, right, is as you grow and as you scale, you want to always be focusing on the highest leverage activities instead of trying to save a few dollars that could actually impact and affect your overall business and the growth and scalability of your business. So again, I just broke down some of the costs that you have to be mindful of and budget for in different phases of your real estate career. So, one thing that is consistent throughout the three phases is investing in creating video content, because that acts as your digital billboard online that is evergreen, but it also door knocks and cold calls for you 24/7, 365. And also, if you get an opportunity to get listings, guys, always make sure you invest back into your property listing. Professional photos, professional videos, twilight photos done, drone footage is shot, a realtor walking introduction to the property. Run social ads for open houses, for just listed, for just solds. Do as much as you can to over deliver to your clients to get the best results for them that you possibly can. And that in itself, if you do a good job, will always come back tenfold for referrals, for testimonials, whatever it is. And guys, if you're just starting out as a brand new agent, there's a ton of free resources and platforms that you can leverage. Guys, start looking to put together hosting a home buyers seminar. Start looking to put together an investor seminar, right? And build a power team of expert panels that can help you with the process of presenting, that could help you answer questions. By being within the vicinity of all these experts, it increases your status delta and your professional ideal in the eyes of the potential clients. And guys, you can even do this over Zoom if you don't have a physical location that you can use to film in. You can simply do this over Zoom in the comfort of the home. And sometimes it actually might be more convenient for clients. I mean, in Vancouver, it rains so much that on some days, just by luck or by chance, on the day of the event, if it rains, the turnout is usually extremely bad. But with the option of attending it in the comfort of their home, you have a higher show-up rate. And also, don't forget to continue to post content on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. Guys, you don't need to invest in fancy camera gear. You can simply start with your iPhone, right? And a lot of people do, because a lot of these content are more short form based that are easily digestible, easily filmed, easily edited, and you can do it through the app itself. And I would recommend starting from that. Short form video content is where the reach is exponential, where you get the best results. So I hope you guys found a ton of value from watching this video. If you guys have, again, all I'm asking for is simply a thumbs up. It definitely helps the YouTube algorithm. If you guys have any further questions, drop them down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. To all your success, I'll catch you guys in the next video.